Where to begin? Why you should read Dune. Why? I mean, I think fundamentally the reason why you should read Dune is because it is what Lord of the Rings is for the fantasy genre. Dune is for the science fiction genre. And so at some point in your reading career, you should read Dune because it is just a staple for the genre. So that's really why you should do it. Wow, that was easy. Alright, that's it. That's all I have to say. Finish. But in all seriousness, alright, so why should you read Dune? Why? Because it is a beautiful example of what science fiction should be. It has these elements of where you want the world to be, right? You have all this science, all this technology that is just so much more how in the future than what we have now. So it's exciting, but yet it has that element of, yeah, it could possibly happen in the future, right? It could be that at some point or another, we will also be similar in traveling through space like they do there, right? I think it's okay. It has some weak points. It's probably not the best science fiction book, but it's an exciting book. I think the first daunting task is that Dune by Frank Herbert, it is a mouthful, or it's just so much inside of it. It has so many terms, so many words that you don't know what's going on half the time, and oftentimes you have to look back in the book, or at least I often had, or more often than not, had to look back in the book and be like, that's what this is. I see. I completely forgot that was talked about in the beginning of the book, but I see that it's there now, right? It's just got so much information just packed inside a 550-page book that honestly could have been several books in itself, that it's difficult to always understand what's going on. But if you take your time with it and you actually then methodically go through it, it's beautiful. And I think that's why Dune is just such a must read, is because it has so many beautiful elements. It brings this world, this barren wasteland of a world, Arrakis, to life. It brings this boy of his coming of age, of his understanding of what he can be, his potential, his maybe destiny, if you will, and this path that you follow with Paul. And I think it also just plays on this element of what humanity, or the lengths humanity will go to actually just achieve power or achieve greatness. Just at what lengths of greed or ambition or passion they all go through, just so that we can actually be greater than we were, right? The next generation is greater than the last generation. I mean, I'm sure you've watched Avatar, and I really do hope that Dune, the movie that's supposed to be coming out at some point this year, it was supposed to come out last year, didn't, and I think this is why Dune will be on a surge or on a rise because of the movie. And if it can also play on this element, like what I think Avatar did, which is almost a very similar replica. Actually, it's very similar. To the point, yeah, maybe, okay, the motivation's a little different for the main character in the Avatar, don't remember his name, but like Paul's motivation's a bit more different than him, but it has almost the entire theme is the same, except it's a jungle planet versus a desert planet. It's basically the biggest difference. Anyways, hopefully the movie's good. That's not the point, right? It's actually, you just sees just how beautiful actually this world is, or beautiful this mind of Frank Herbert's is inside of creating Dune and creating this science fiction epic that it is. And I think it's just, yeah, that is a big reason. You don't read it for maybe the characters. You don't really read it for Paul. Paul's great. But you don't have that real connection to him. You don't have a common base with him. Like, you are not a lord of a planet and your family hasn't been overthrown by another house. Maybe it has, but probably it hasn't. And so you don't have much of a connection, or you don't really understand what he's going through. But yeah, and so it's okay. The characters are alright, but it's not the reason why you read it. The reason why you read it is for this world, for all the exciting things that come through understanding what us as humanity, who we are and what we do to these planets, and what we want to gain from them for our own betterment, but then also what we want to give back in many ways as well. And I think that's just done so beautifully inside of Dune, and Frank Herbert does that really well. It makes you fall in love with this genre then in the end. And I think maybe it's not the first science fiction book that you should read, but it's definitely up there. And I think once you have, you're excited, and it's a good read in the end, and then you're like, I feel better, I feel good from reading that. yeah, and so I definitely do recommend it. I think everyone should at one point or another read Dune. And yeah, hopefully they enjoy it. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. And that's really why you should read Dune. Take care. Peace.